Hey everybody, welcome back. The snow is melting. It's still cold. I got my heater going wide open and it's still only about 55 degrees in my shop. So it's a little chilly. But today, on this video, I'm going to tackle the 31. Right here's a small relief section for the distributor. And they had a different motor and everything in here, and for some reason this thing that it's not enough clearance. So I was hoping it was gonna be when I clearance for the intake and all that, the intake carburetors and all that stuff, but it's not enough clearance. So today I'm gonna try and I'm gonna cut this out, and I know the distributor is kind of offset. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a uniform recess. So I'm going to cut this section out, probably come down to about right here, and make a new recess and weld it in. So, and on top of that, we're going to come into here, and the floor section and the hump section right here. This is wood. He had bought a replacement panel for it right here, so I'm going to take that out and get this panel put in, and he's got the he bought a new replacement hump section, and you can see this thing has been modified with this piece of metal that's in here. So I'm gonna have to modify this to fit that, and I may have to redo this because this is made out of like galvanized tin or something. So I'm gonna remove that. I'm gonna set the floor in and see where we need to go from there. So, but first up is cutting this recess out right here. So that's what I'm going to work on first. I'm going to take all this, I think I'm going to take this hump out, take this piece of wood out, and then get in there to work on that. So stick with me, and here we go. No, I didn't take this thing apart, so I'm still trying to figure out what everything is and where everything goes. Do not like these screws. This out the way. Supposed to make it to like 39 degrees or 40 degrees today, so melt all the snow off. It shouldn't be quite so bad for ones in Louisiana. Cut that one off. Well, I may not have to do anything with that since that's got to go. Let's see if I can get these little screws out. Well, there's one came off. Different sizes. Everything's a different size. Let's see, what other size? I guess I gotta. Guess what time it is? Oh, I need my shield. Can't do it without my face shield. Where's my face shield? Always gotta remember that PPE, huh? Should have known that was gonna happen. Every time I grab one. Dead gun battery's dead. That one don't sound real strong, does it? Yeah. Damn it. That one's still hooked up over there. What in the world? That's a combination of sheet metal and galvanized, I think. That goes a pile. Alright, okay. Look at that. It don't fit. Imagine that. Can y'all see it? See where it humps up? Gonna have to hump up in the middle. I'll have to adjust that. Make that one. Oh yeah, made the panel to fit for it. Just drop it right in. Nope. Nope. Not when you're dealing with hot rods and modified stuff. Let's see, what do I want to do? What do I want to do, guys? I wonder if I could put that in my planishing hammer and shape that and raise that. See, I'm going to have to trim this, make it fit. Let me get that out of there for a second. That might work. Let's see. I might be able to just cut that back. Maybe. You go get my marker. Of course, it'd help if I got a marker that would work, huh? Well, let's see how my luck goes. I got 4 of them. Hey, there we go. Can't believe it worked one. About the middle right there. Try another. One little mark right there. Well, that wasn't real great, but it worked out. It looks kind of warped. It is kind of warped. That's a little more better right there. Okay. All right. Meeny, miny, mo. Is this one gonna work? I don't know. I can see one problem with the clearance for the brake. So, I need to trim this back. Trim that back just a little bit and see what that does. side of that and trim that down just a little bit and see what happens. Alright, let's see what this looks like. Oh, wow. What's holding me up? Bigger hammer, that's what's up. Don't fit, force it. Mark, I hope you're not watching. Well, I got to tweak on that just a little bit. The floor, it's bent up over here. So I probably need to hammer that edge in just a little bit because it fits back here, but up here, you see where it bowed the panel? The panel bowed. It shouldn't bow like that. So I'm going to have to hammer this edge. Probably hammer this edge on here and over there and on the edge of this. Create a little bit more room because it won't need much. And this. I gotta get that down first. And then I might have to trim this back a little bit to get that all the way up to fit flush. And I think, oh, there's plenty of room for that. So let's get this out of here. Not left-handed either. Oh, I see part of the problem. Somebody welded all this together. Probably didn't get it exactly right. I don't know. It was okay for the wood because they could just trim the wood down real easy. I can work some of this down a little bit. See if that makes it any better. Oh yeah. Hammer just a little bit more on that. I need to trim this just a little bit more. Let's see if I can find one of these markers that'll work a little bit. Let's trim right there. Just past there. trim that. And I'll hammer these edges just a little bit more, and it should fit a lot better. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. That'll be enough. That's got a little bit of bow in it still. Damn it. And all the biggest part of the bow is being carved on this side. I think this side's going down all the way. Now we'll need to trim that out just a little, looks like. Well, let me see if I can work on this edge some more over here. Maybe just a little bit right there. Help a little before I get attach this to this, it'll strengthen the center up. That center won't bow down. What I'm going to do, I do believe, I'm going to trim this to allow that to go forward. And then I'm going to have to trim this way so I can do this filler piece. I think what I'll do, I don't know if I can make that bolt together, screw together or not. Then I put a place for my brake master cylinder over here. I'll crawl underneath it and mark that. That's fitting pretty good right there. Clearance for that. I need to trim just a touch off of there. I think that'll make it more better right there. Okay. trim little by little so I don't cut too much. Before I get too far forward into this, I need to cut this out. Well, I don't know how good you can see it. I got all kinds of lines on there, and mainly because I screwed up making my measurements, and they weren't square. They were way off. So then I regrouped and redid. So I'm gonna cut this out. Let me get my face shield again. So I'm gonna cut this out, and then I'm not sure if I'm gonna try and modify it to make it deeper. I may do that. If I can make that work, I'll do that, and I can just weld this panel back in. I may have to just make another panel, but we'll see how it goes. Let me cut this out. Well, I'm not doing very damn well. Crap. That makes me mad. Can't even follow my own damn lines. Put another blade on. Oh, that's aggravating. That was not pretty. Well, now that that's cut out, see how screwed up that is? Now I'm going to see if I can maybe enlarge that and weld that back in. I don't know. Here we go. I'm going to put it in my planishing hammer and see what I can do. So stand by while I get everything set up. Let me see if I can do any good with this. Maybe, maybe not. Alright, I planished on it for a minute, and it had all these dimples already in it, so I knew this side being smooth, it had to have Bondo. So I went and ground out as much of the Bondo that I could, and it had some pretty thick spots in it. And I took my hammer in my bag and I hammered on this side to try and make this a little more even. I'm going to work with the planishing hammer again, try and smooth all this out and see if it gives me enough clearance after get rid of half of that Bondo. Alright, I planished it for a while. Can you see? You can see the little dimple marks. That was where the Bondo was that I couldn't get out, was still in there. So I went and took my wire wheel and got the Bondo out best I could. Now I'm going to planish it some more and it should smooth those out, and I'll hit my wire wheel on if there's any Bondo left. And then, I don't know if you can tell, but it's raised it pretty good bit, and then I widened it out. Originally it was about right here, and I hammered that down and widened that out. So I'm gonna see if I can get some better form in through here to even it out and smooth this out some more. So stand by and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. All right, I went ahead, I ground it again, make sure I got all the Bondo out. I ground all the paint off the backside. And you can still see some little dimples in here, and I can feel them. So I'm gonna planish this one more time, see if I can get those out, make this perfectly smooth, or as perfectly smooth as possible. So stand by, I'll show you in a minute. Okay, you can kind of see a little bit of the marks left, but it's pretty smooth now. And you can see how much of a dome it gave me. Give me that clearance. This will be the top. There's actually a little more clearance at the top than there is at the bottom, but that's the way. I wish I'd have took a side picture or side view of it before I started. Let me wait till my air compressor stops. I wish I'd have took a side shot of this before I started. There was not near as much recess in this panel before I started, and I'm hoping just by doing that it gave me enough clearance to get that distributor in and out. This is the top. It's got a little bit more dome right here. It kind of tapers off at the bottom, which is fine. I widened it out. It's not perfect, but it'll look okay like it is. Let me hit this with some 80 grit real quick. See what it looks like. I hope you can hear me over my deadgum air compressor, but you can still see some of the little bit of dimpling that's in there. I got probably 90% of it out. So probably a couple of good coats of field primer would make that perfectly smooth. I'm gonna hammer this edge down just a little bit right here and get it ready to go back in. I'm gonna fit it, and then I'm gonna see if the distributor will go in with the clearance that it's got. Got my fingers crossed, because if it don't, I got to make this panel completely from scratch. So keep your fingers crossed for me. All right, there's my clearance right there. And I think we got enough. You can adjust it a little bit back and forth, and I think there's enough. Let me see. With the cap off. Put the cap off. It'll come in and out. So maybe success. So I'll get the intake on it and see if I can get it in that way. And maybe I can just go ahead and weld it back in and we'll be good to go. So fingers crossed for me. I'm gonna set the intake on there and see if it goes in real quick, and then I'll let you know. All right, and that's what we're looking at. So clearance is there. Fingers were crossed. It worked out good, really good. And you know, on the planishing hammer, what it does is it stretches. It'll stretch that metal. It'll smooth it out. You can put it down real light with light contact, and it'll smooth metal out and not stretch it. It'll just, you go real light with it. But you tighten, I don't know if you noticed me, there's an adjustment on this thing right here that I could adjust the tension up here. So that was relaxed That's up tight, raises it up. And the tighter it is, the more it hammers on that metal. And as it hammers on that metal, it stretches it out. And when it stretched it, it made it dome out more. So it gave me more clearance. And that's what I was going for. So, whew, I'm glad that worked. That's all I can say. I'm gonna get it all prepped up and ready to weld back in. And then we'll pick this up when I go to welding it back in. So, but it's there. We'll weld this in, get back on the floor, get that taken care of, and then we're going to move on to some other stuff on this thing. So stick with me. All right, just show you what I did real quick. Came in, I cleaned up my edges, got everything lined up, both sides, cleaned up inside, cleaned up outside, and I got everything spaced out. And what I did for my spacing is I used my old discs and put in there, because that's the width that I cut. So I spaced it out with those just to keep the spacing and the fitting a little easier for me to do to get my first tacks in. So I got the tacks in. Now I'm gonna hammer the low or high spots out smooth, tack it all in, and get it welded. So I'm gonna put you on a fast forward. I'll set the camera up back here and I'll put you on fast forward and you can see what I'm gonna do. So here we go. All right, guys, I didn't think you wanted to watch me weld and grind for an hour and a half, even on fast forward. So that's why I just clipped it off, and I'll show you the end product. So I finished up with it. There's the end product. It's all welded in, ground down, ready to go. Got my clearance. Now I'm gonna try and figure out this floor, see if I can get this floor done. So we'll jump back on that and see what it takes for me to get it done. So keep watching. All right, let me show you what I'm doing. Let me get you set up where you can see. I trim this back where it sits in, and it's almost completely flush with the firewall. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. Well, I'm not going to take that. Let me get a smaller piece. See if my copper plate will work. Here we go. Nope. Almost. Let's take a little piece of sheet metal. And I'm going to figure out where the floor is going to ride. Let's see. Go there. It's going to bend about right there. See if I can bend right here. Okay. See how that's laying. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this, and I can trim this hump down. Make sure I got that in the right place again. Okay. I'll take this side. the other way so I can use the other side. Should have got a straighter piece, huh? Instead of a triangle piece. Okay, like that. I'll take and trim this right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this edge off on both sides. Then I'll fab up the piece that goes here. And I'm also going to fabricate a flange to follow this firewall. So I can bolt this to the firewall and to here. I'm going to get some nut zerts or some riv nuts or whatever you want to call them. Excuse me. And put them in here where I flange it. And that way I can bolt directly to it. And also I'm going to do that here so I can bolt it to the floor. And then there's some places to bolt the floor down to. And I'll mark those and drill the holes in here to do that, so that I can bolt it all the way in, like on the edges. There's some holes in through here. I'll have to go from underneath and mark them. But I can put in, you saw me take the bolts out when I took the wood out. So I'll be able to put those back in to hold this down on both sides. I think there's 3 or 4 on both sides, and then along this bottom edge here. So I'll do that. I'm going to riv nut this edge right here to the floor. And then I'm going to build the flange and riv nut it to here. That way I can bolt it all in, and it can all be unbolted if the floor needs to come out. So here we go. Alright, there's the piece. There's the flange that I made for it. I tack welded it on this side a couple of tacks. I'm going to tack weld it all the way across. And I may come on this side and give it a couple of tacks on this side too. But that's going to sit in there. It lines up with my center marks that I got on the floor. Here's the edge. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out a piece to fill this section right here. And it'll come underneath this. I'm still probably going to have to trim that a little bit, but I wanted to leave it a little long just in case. But I'm going to make a piece that comes all the way over underneath that edge on both sides, and then get those ready to put in and see how this fits on top of it, what I need to trim off. And then I'll drill my holes, get ready to do my nut zerts, and see if we can get this thing finished up today. So stand by with me. Well, here's where I'm at right now. I'm trying to fabricate this piece of floor right here, and I don't know, it's taking a little more fabricating than I anticipated. So I wanted it to lay flat like that, and so if you look, I flanged it at the bottom so that it would do that, like that. Okay, but I want this piece underneath because I think it would maybe look better. It seems to fit better like this. So I'm at a dilemma. So if I put that right there, let me put my little strong magnet on there to hold that right there. So then I put this up here and line my mark up in the center. And boy, the lines across there from this light. Let's see if I got a little juice left in this one. That's better. Okay, and that light's about to run out of battery. So I got that up there, laid in place. This is lined up with my center marks, and it needs to go all the way up. So I guess I'm debating whether to trim just a little more off of this and trim off of this. So I hadn't really made up my mind. I'm trying to figure that out. If you want to see what this is, It's just a little piece I bent up. The floor has this drop in it right here, so I had to account for that drop. And then what the plan is to figure out and put a nut zert right here in the floor underneath. Put a nut zert in here and in here, and then put that up there, and then I can bolt this down. And I guess since it lays so well like that, I guess I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to I may tack weld this to the floor. A couple of things that'll give it strength. And if I bolt it up here and bolt it here, and it's tack welded here, and I bolt it on the sides and around the bottom and over there, I can unbolt it and this whole floor will come out along with this. So I just have to try and figure out how I'm going to go about doing this. So kind of stuck for a moment. I may call it a day. A lot of times when I get aggravated, irritated, or get into a spot like this, I'm trying to figure stuff out. It's the best thing for me to do is take a break and come back to it. And usually everything falls in place when I do that. If I get aggravated, get a little irritated, I'm liable to take that great big ass hammer I got sitting over there and beat on it. And then I'd have to start over. So best thing for me to do right now is take a break. We're gonna pick this up tomorrow. So hope to see you. Keep watching. Thank you for watching. You guys out there are wonderful. I just want to make sure and tell you that. So I appreciate everything you're doing. Appreciate all the support I'm getting. Appreciate all the comments I'm getting. I appreciate you guys tremendously. So thanks for the support. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Hit that subscribe and like button for me, and I'll be back tomorrow to catch up on this. New day, guys. So I got out here a minute ago and sat down and looked at it again, and this is what I come up with. I'm going to go ahead and put this on top. I'm going to weld this to this floor. You see I've cleaned it up. I'm going to weld this to the floor also, and then I've got to cut me a piece to fill this gap right here. It actually goes about right there. So I'll tack this in on this side over here, and then I'll make me a little template and I'll fill this in. But then I'll have the holes up here to put some screws or some little some bolts or something through there to hold that to the firewall. That way it can all be unbolted. I'll put some bolts here, and then there'll be bolts in the floor around. So all of this and this will be one piece when I'm done, so it can be taken in and taken out. So that's what I decided to do. So I'm going to put the camera up where y'all can kind of watch, and I'm going to go ahead and start getting this thing put together so I can finish this up today. So stand by. Here we go. holes in this. We'll make that other piece on the other side. All right, I came in here. I made this piece up. I need to get this to stay in place with the firewall and everything so I can make it fit like it's supposed to fit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here with some little self tappers and put in there. So that's the game plan. Let me see if I can get you somewhere where you can watch. And I marked where I needed to go with them, so. See if I can get this to fall in place right. Yeah, I would put that right where I would need to tack this together, wouldn't I? Still needs to come back, doesn't it? Come back just a little bit more. Shrink this a little bit and make it curve in. There we go. That's a little more better. Might need to curve it just a touch more. Turn it just a little bit more. I need to hammer this edge in some because I got a gap over here. bit, so I'm going to hammer this edge down a little bit. And when I hammered that in, you see how much longer this side is now than this side, so I got to trim that down. Alright. Oh yeah, that's a lot better right there. Got a little bit of a gap, but that's okay. Fitting better up here. And I'll hammer that down to touch this. Okay, I'm gonna go drill some spot weld holes right here. I guess I'm gonna take this, let me put another screw in up here. And I might have to cut a hole for the brake and probably for the steering column. But let me get this fabbed up first. Get that right there. I'm gonna clean these edges up right here and right here, and see if I can get them welded in real quick. So let me go grab that stuff. Be back in a second. Alright, I went ahead and welded everything in. I got this in. I was able to roll that down, and I rolled that down a little bit and got it all tucked in. So, but you can see how much stronger the floor is now since all this is together. So it doesn't have that big sag. It won't drop down in there. So what I got left is I need to drill these holes out for some bolts or some screws or something, and then I got to make a hole for my brake pedal to come through, and then I'll worry about the steering wheel when I get to that point of putting the steering column in and everything. So I'm gonna do that real quick and try and locate the holes for the bolts that go in here, and get those drilled out and see if I can get it bolted in and set up with the brake pedal hole. Oh, and I got to do a master cylinder hole down here. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'll come back and show you the finished product. So stick with me. Okay, to recap what we did today, or did on this little video, I got the recess in, recessed that better for clearance on the distributor. That's all done. And then we come in here, I got the floor pan in, I got that welded to this and this welded to that, and all of that welded to the pan. And you can see how much stronger it made the floor pan now. I have it all bolted in. I drill my holes through here, put a nut zert behind it. That way it bolts there, and then I got some machine screws here for the firewall for that. Got all the bolts in the floor, all the way around. It's sitting pretty nice. I think it'll be a good deal, good to go. So I hope Mark likes it. Later on, all of this will be covered in sound deadener. Oh, I forgot one thing. I'll have to come back, pull this up, and cut my hole out for my brake. So I'll do that on another day. So I'll call it an end to this video, and thank everybody for watching. I appreciate it. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell thingy. I appreciate everybody that subscribed. I look back at my stuff and was really shocked. In the last 28 days, I've gotten like 400 and something. I don't remember exactly. 408 maybe new subscribers. I don't know what I did different, but thank everybody that subscribed. I appreciate it so much. So anybody new out there watching, hey, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. That way I know that you like the videos that I'm doing. So next video, I think I'll be back to finishing the top of the cowl on the Buick. Finish that out, and so you can see that finished product. And then I might move on to something else on it. Next time I come back to the 31, we're going to start putting some more stuff on it. I'm going to get the intake and all done and on it, carbs, headers, all that. I'm going to get the aprons under the bottom so I can finish completely bolting the body down so I can get ready to put the fenders and all that kind of stuff on it. This thing should start going together pretty quick after that. So thank you, everybody, again, and I really appreciate it. And like I always said, hey, keep your head up. Don't look down on yourself. Don't look down on others. Okay, keep your head up. You can always get some stuff done. Get out there and work on these old rides, man. Save part of history. Make somebody happy. Make yourself happy. All right? Till next time. Bye.